Morning everyone. Today we are going to do module 5, markets for goods and services. Okay. Markets for goods and services. Alright, let's go to the next slide. Okay, quickly we are now going to talk about what is called perfect competition. Okay, let's look at the definition. They say it is a hypothetical or unrealistic or impossible, or an example, market structure where competition is at the greatest possible level, that is, it is perfect. It is sometimes referred to as pure competition. Now guys, perfect competition hardly exists. We want to believe, but ayikho. Right. Now these are the characteristics of the perfect competition market. 1, there is perfect knowledge of information to all participants, that means buyers and sellers. There are many buyers and sellers. The firms or the businesses are price takers. Right? That means the price is determined by forces of demand and supply. Okay? The businesses do not come with their own prices. Okay, there is self-interest. Okay, that means the businesses want to maximize profits, and us customers or buyers want the cheapest prices. Okay, so there's self-interest. Everyone has his own interest. There are no barriers to enter or exit the market. Okay, akumntu ungavumelekanga okanye unqandwayo angakwazi ungena perfect competition, or umntu uphumayo ufuna uphuma. Right? All products are homogeneous, that means yafana, identical, and not branded. Right? And not branded. Okay, when they say not branded, they say, that's why they say there's no perfect competition, because there are branded products. If you can think of ShopRite, ShopRite has its own brand. I'm not sure, they say it's what, shop something. And also uSpar naye une-products zakhe azibrandeleyo ngokwakhe. uPick n Pay une-products azibrande ngokwakhe, azenze ngokwakhe. uLewis also naye unayo ibrand yakhe. Right? And then, so that's why they say there's no perfect competition. It is hypothetical. It is unrealistic. Okay? Because the characteristics of a perfect competition, they say all products produced must be the same. They must not be branded. So we can prove that we do have branded products. So that means there's no competition. There's no perfect competition. So now factors of production are also homogeneous and perfectly mobile, right? Okay, no single firm influences market price and conditions. Okay, that means akho business one influence prices. Okay, there are unlimited firms in the market, which is not true. That's why we say there's no perfect competition. There are, yes, this is true, sorry. There are unlimited, that means there are many firms in the market. That means lena i characteristic yafana ngathi ilento i-1. That means there are many buyers and many sellers. Sellers are businesses, buyers are customers. Okay. The government needs not to intervene. Uhulumende ke guys une-intervention encinci in the market. So it leni characteristics, the government need not intervene which is not true. The government must intervene because the government must put some laws and rules. All right. There is no external cost to third parties. Right. So these are the characteristics of a perfect market. At least you must know at least 5, guys. You must know at least 5. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We're still on the perfect competition. So now they say choices of firms under perfect competition, meaning that customers have many substitutes of products to choose from or buy. Right? As a customer in a choice, guys, if you don't want to buy Coke, you can buy Twizzler. So you have substitutes. Okay, if you don't want to buy white bread, you can buy brown bread. If you don't want wine, you can buy beer. So you have substitutes of products. And then firms in the market earn just enough profit to stay in the business and to try to differentiate their products from those of competitors. So under perfect competition, it is true that businesses, they try to make or maximize the profit, and also they try to differentiate their products from competitors. That means zama ngandlela ngani intoba i-products zabo zingafani nezabanye abantu. Right. Now, under perfect competition, we know under the business purpose to make profit. So they say firms want to maximize profits. So as we know how to calculate profit is when you take your total revenue or total income that you receive from selling stuff, you minus the total cost, and then you get your profit. Okay. So these are the formulas of your revenues. You have total revenue, you have average revenue, you have marginal revenue. So total revenue is you get it when you take your price, you multiply it by the units sold. So for instance, if you are selling amagwinya, and then each gwinya will cost at 2 rand, and then you sell 10 amagwinya, you're going to say 2 rand times the quantity of magwinya sold, which is 10, and then your total revenue will be 20 rand. Right. And then average revenue, okay, the formula is total revenue divided by quantity sold. Right. So it will be your total revenue here. It was how much? 20 rand, if you still remember. It was 20 rand. So you take your 20 rand and you divide by the quantity of your products sold. How many did you sell? We sold 10. So 20 rand divided by 10 is equal to 2 rand. So our average revenue is 2 rand. Right. And then marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is, the formula is the change in total revenue divided in the change in quantity. Right. So note that under perfect competition, both average revenue and marginal revenue, these two, will be equal to price. Right. Will be equal to price. So when you talk about price, it means you are also talking about, is the same thing as if you are talking about average revenue, is the same thing as if you are talking about marginal revenue. Right. So under perfect competition, when they talk about price, you must know they are talking about average revenue. They are talking about marginal revenue. So if they say the price is 2 rand, you must know that 2 rand is the average revenue, is also the marginal revenue. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Now, under perfect competition, they talk about market and firm or business demand curves under perfect competition. So how do we draw or illustrate the demand curves when we are talking about the firm or the business, a single firm or a single business? And when we are talking about the market, you know, the market most is a collection of customers or the collection of businesses, okay, the industry. All right. So when we are talking about the industry, right? When we are talking about the industry, for instance, ShopRite is in the retail industry. So in the industry of retail, we have ShopRite, we have Truworths, we have a lot of retail shops. So when they are together, it is called an industry. Okay. So that's what we are talking about here, an industry. Okay. How do you show a demand curve? As a normal demand curve. Okay, you have price, you have quantity. Okay. So under industry, your demand curve will be the normal one. The supply curve will be the normal one as you know it. Alright. So also under perfect competition, when you are talking about a single business or a single firm, your demand curve won't be like in your industry. Your demand curve will be, your price will be like this. If your price is here, then your demand curve will run through like this. Okay. So it's equal to your AR is equal to your MR. As you can remember from the previous slide, we said under perfect competition, your price is equal to your average revenue is equal to your marginal revenue. It's the same thing. If the price is 2 rand, your demand curve will run like this. Okay. So your average revenue will also be that 2 rand. Your marginal revenue will be also be that 2 rand. Okay. All right. Then let's go to the next slide. Okay, before we go to the next slide, do you remember from module 4, we talked about average cost curve and marginal cost curve, and we said the average cost curve is a U shape. It's a U shape. It's like a U. So this is the average cost curve. AR must be there. And then the marginal cost curve, it cuts the average cost curve at the lowest point. Apho kanye jika khona i-marginal cost curve inqumla phezu kwayo kulaa ndawo kanye. So this is the marginal cost curve. Okay, don't forget how to draw your U-shape average cost curve and the marginal cost curve that cuts at the lowest point. Right. Let's go to the next slide. Remember, demand curve in the industry is the normal one. Supply curve is the normal one. But we're not talking about the single business under perfect competition. Your demand curve will be your price. Where the price is, that's your demand curve. And you know under perfect competition, your price is equal to your average cost. Your average revenue is equal to your marginal revenue. Right, let's go to the next slide quickly. So under perfect competition, for a single firm or individual firm or single business or individual business, your demand curve is your price. If your price is there, then your demand curve will run there. This is your firm or business demand curve under perfect competition, right? Price this side, quantity this side is normal. Right, let's go to the next slide. So how does a business maximize profits? How do we maximize profit as a business? Firstly, they highlight here that in the short run, profits can be positive, can be zero, or can be negative. Okay, as we all know, if we say we have a profit, it means that our price is greater than our cost, right? What is the price? The price is the average revenue or is the marginal revenue. Okay, so the firm will make profit when our price is greater than the cost, right? So the opposite is true. What do they mean? They mean when the cost is greater than the price, then we have a loss. Okay, opposite means the other way around. So cost curve. Cost curves, you remember the cost curve? You have the U shape, average cost, and the marginal cost that cuts through the lowest point. Okay, don't forget that. So now the industry supply curve is a normal upward sloping curve. If you remember the previous slide, under industry, the demand curve is the normal demand curve that you know, and the supply curve is the normal supply curve that you know under industry, right? But the supply curve of the individual or single business is your marginal cost curve, right? So under perfect competition, when you talk about the demand curve, okay, this is your graph. When you talk about the demand curve, right? So your demand curve will be where your price is. When you're talking about a single business under perfect competition, and your demand curve will run like this. So as you know, your price under perfect competition is the same as your average revenue, is the same as your marginal revenue. Okay, all right. Now you have your demand curve under perfect competition for a single business, and then your supply curve under perfect competition for a single business will be your marginal cost curve. Remember the marginal cost curve? This is the average cost curve, a U shape, and the marginal cost curve, you remember, it must cut across at the lowest point. This is MC, marginal cost. This is AC, average cost curve. So how do you draw it? You draw it normally, it's like this. So this is your marginal cost curve, which acts as your supply curve. Your AR, your P, or your AR or your MR acts as your demand curve. All right, I hope that is clear. Okay, let's wipe this. Right. Okay, that is what they were trying to explain here. All right, under the industry, your demand curve is the normal demand curve and your supply curve is the normal supply curve. Okay, as they say, the industry demand curve is the normal, right? But the demand curve of the single business, or firm, is your marginal revenue curve. Okay, is your marginal revenue curve, not average. Okay, take that average away. is your marginal revenue curve. Your marginal revenue curve. Okay, let's scratch this. Okay, right. Okay, so our focus is on average revenue curve, the lowest point, and of average cost curve. Remember, we're trying to check how to maximize profit. So our focus, when we draw the graphs, we are going to focus at the lowest point of the average cost curve, which is a U shape. Sorry, on the lowest point of the average cost curve, and then our focus also is going to be on the average revenue, which is our marginal revenue, which is our price. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Right. Quickly. So in the short run, how does the business make profit? So the firm can make abnormal or super profits. It can also make normal profits. It can also incur losses. Okay, but let's start with abnormal profits or super profits. Okay, how do you show abnormal profits in the short run graphically? How do you show it? Okay, the first thing you do, you draw your graph as normal. You put your quantity, you put your cost and revenue on the side, which is your price. Right. Now, and then you need to draw, your demand and supply curve for a single business. And you know, under perfect competition, the demand curve for a single business is your price. Where your price is, then that's where your demand curve is, which is equal to your AR and your MR. Right? You draw it. And then if you draw, and then you draw your supply curve. And we said most previously, your supply curve is your what? Is your MC, that is your marginal cost curve. You draw your marginal cost curve, and then you draw also your average cost curve. So remember, we said our focus will be on average revenue, which is your price, and average and the lowest point of the average cost curve. So if you look here, this is your lowest point of your average cost curve. You draw a line there, okay, and then the space between your average revenue and the end of your cost curve is where you make your abnormal profits. Okay, so from point A to point B, that's your profit. You're making abnormal profits. All right. Why do we say you are making profit? It's because your average revenue, your revenue is greater than your cost. Okay. Your revenue, that means your income, is greater than your cost. Okay. Imali engenayo inkulu nemali oyidleka yona. Right. If uyabona apha i-curve ye-revenue ingaphezulu kule curve yantoni ye-cost. So that means i-revenue is greater than the cost. So this point is your abnormal profit. I hope that is clear. Okay, so focus here, guys, ilapha ku average revenue, kule line demand for a single firm. Naku lowest point yentoni, average cost, lowest point. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Right. Okay, Lebi siyenza be abnormal profits when the business has made abnormal profits. Okay, bacacisa yona apa, they say here the AR curve, that is average revenue, is above the AC, that means average cost curve, symbolizing that revenue is greater than cost. So profit are shown by point AB. Okay, that distance between AB. Okay. Now masibone xa ibhizinesi isenza i-incur ntoni i-loss graphically ibona njani loo nto. Musiyayazi i-loss yenziwa xa i-cost sebhizinesi si-more than imali engenayo ne. So that means igraph yethu sesiyazi obviously i-cost curve funeka ibe ngaphezu kwantoni kule revenue curve. So let's see here, output, cost and revenue, that means price yethu, that means i-average revenue yethu nansi. Okay, imali engenayo ibhizinesi nansi. The focus yethu izoba yintoni, i-AR curve and the AC curve. So nansi AC curve, the lowest point of it nansi apho iphela khona. So we draw a line there. Okay, so sine-points zethu from i-cost yethu, average cost yethu ne-average revenue yethu. So let's just say point CD, point CD or distance CD. So yonke la point leya ila ndawo la area i-business yenza ntoni, irana at a loss. Irana at a loss. Why do we say irana at a loss? It's because our cost is greater than our revenue. Uyayibona mos i-curve ye-cost, average cost ingaphezulu ne-curve yentoni ye-revenue, AR. Siyayibona guys? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. I hope that is clear also. Okay. But explain that. Same thing here. They say the previous slide here, the AC, that means average cost curve, is above the marginal or average revenue curve, symbolizing that the cost is greater than the revenue. That's why we are making a what? We are incurring a loss. So losses are shown by point or distance CD. Right. Now let's see if we are making normal profits, not abnormal, but normal profits. Normal profits. So in the short run, under perfect competition, we make normal profits when i-cost yethu ilingana nantoni ne-revenue. That means i-cost curve yethu at the lowest point izongqubana nantoni ne-average revenue yethu. Average revenue yethu. Right. So where they meet, that's where the business makes normal profits. Okay, at point E. Okay. Hope that is clear. So this is the illustration of the normal profits under short run. So under short run period, the business makes normal profits where the average revenue curve touches or meet with the average cost curve. You can say this is equilibrium, or yeah, at the lowest point, symbolizing the cost is equal to revenue. So normal profits are shown by point E here. So this part, guys, is very important. Okay? We have shown you how to show it graphically when the business has made abnormal profits, when the business has made normal profits, when the business has broken even or has made normal profits. Right now, you must take note of this. A business, there's a point whereby a business has to close its operations simply because it can't even pay for its variable costs like electricity, transportation, is unable to keep up the operations, so it has to shut down. Okay, so they see here. So in summary, the firm can make abnormal profits, normal profit, or can incur losses in the short run. But if the firm's average revenue is less than the average variable cost, that means average revenue is less than, not less than average cost, but less than average variable cost, then the firm or the business needs to shut down or close operations. All right, how do you show that? Let's go to slide. Okay, I'm going to explain that on slide 20. Please don't forget when the business has to shut down operations. Okay, now let's go to long run equilibrium. Like long run, it means we are talking about a long period. Okay, here we are talking about perfect competition in the short run period. All right. So in the long run period, the businesses will attract, or the firms will be attracted to enter the market, since existing firms are making abnormal profits. So because firms in the short run are making abnormal profits, means imali ininzi kakhulu. So most of the businesses in the long run, they will be interested and want to enter the market. All right. And so as more firms enter the market, the supply curve, that means there will be more supply because there are more firms now or businesses. So the supply will increase, meaning that the supply curve will shift to the right because more goods are supplied. And because more goods are supplied, this will cause prices to go down to a point where abnormal profits are exhausted, right? Okay. So also firms will start incurring or making losses, and eventually they will go out of business or they will shut down. Okay, think of it, guys. Kakuki businesses supply the same products. Okay, so nyanzeleka into yoba bahlise prices because abafumani customers. Kaloku there are many people who I can go anywhere I want. So the more I increase prices, then ke ngoku sizakwenza sawuyeka ukwenza abnormal profits, right? Sawuqala ke ngoku ukwenza loss, and then eventually we go out of business. Okay, does it make sense? Right, let's go to the next slide. So how do you, okay, here they are explaining the fact that there will be more supply. Okay, this is original demand curve in the industry. This is original supply curve in the industry. So because there are more businesses now in the long run, it means that there will be more supply of the goods. Okay, so the supply will increase, so there'll be a shift in the supply curve. That's what they are trying to explain here. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so they say unlike in the short run, in the long run period, only normal profits can be made. Remember, in the short run, we can make abnormal profits, we can make normal profits, we can also incur losses. But in the long run period, we only make normal profits, right? So here, perfect competition has these following benefits. You can read it on your own. This is self-study. This is self-study. As mentioned before, perfect competition in the real world is hard to find, guys. It's hard to find. That's why they say it is unrealistic, perfect competition. However, there are industries that you can find perfect competition currently, like agricultural markets, foreign exchange markets, internet-related industries. Okay, you can find a little bit of perfect competition here in these industries. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay. In the long run, under perfect competition, how do we make, how does the business make normal profits? Okay, we know most normal profit is when our revenue is more than our cost. Okay, so again, in the single firm, okay, we have UP must be demand curve in for the single firm. Also, it's a average revenue and marginal revenue. So we have P1 and P2. So we have two demand curves or two revenues, average revenues. So the first one is here. The second one is here. Okay. So let's see, where does the business make a profit here? And we said the business only make profits when the revenue is more than its cost. So where is our revenue, or where is our cost? So this is our average cost. This is the lowest point. Okay, and then we also have demand or average revenue. So if we take this average revenue, it is above the lowest point of the average cost. Okay, so that means revenue is above cost. That means we are making profit. So our normal profit is from this point to this point. Right, so this area is our normal profit as a business. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How do we call this point? You see this point alone. You see the average cost curve? It meets the average revenue. So that means here at this point, if we compare this and this one, at this point the business is not the business is not in the short run. In fact, the business is not making any is making, in the short run, the business here is making normal profits in the short run. But here we're talking about the what? We're talking about the long run. Okay, let's see at the explanation here. Okay, now we are done with the perfect competition. Let's talk about monopoly. Okay, monopoly, guys, is simple. It's when a business business a supplier. Okay, so kuthiwa monopolizer, that means yiyo yothengisayo, yiyo supplier, it can charge higher prices. For instance, igarage monopoly ebusuku, because most businesses are closed, and if ufuna into, you are forced to go to the filling station, garage, okay, as we call it, uyothenga pha, and pha prices are high, and you have no choice. You have to buy it because you want it. So they say monopoly occurs when there is only one firm in the entire market. Okay, it is fairly unrealistic, but it's a corner. Okay, but it's a corner. The only example I can think of is a filling station, garage. Okay, there are also industries that are close to monopoly. Right? Now they define monopoly. They say monopoly is an economic market structure where a specific business is the only supplier of the goods and services. And then in a monopoly market, the business of firms maximizes its profits, where the marginal revenue equals the marginal cost. Okay. So when in the monopoly, when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, and then under monopoly, this is called normal profit or economic profit under monopoly, where your marginal cost is equal to your marginal revenue. That means the business has made normal profit or economic profit, right? And then let's go to the next slide. So guys, these are the characteristics of a monopoly. You can read it on your own, self-study. You can maybe know maybe 5 or 4, right? Let's go to the next slide. So these are the limitations of a monopoly. Okay, this is self-study, right? These are the barriers of monopoly. Okay, these are the barriers of monopoly, right? Know about 3 or 4. Okay, under monopoly, we have the curve for total revenue is like this. Okay, it's like this. You draw it like this, guys. You have your output here, you have your total revenue here. Okay, under monopoly. So how do you read it? You read it as when a certain quantity is sold, this is our revenue, 18 rand, and then we receive 33 rand when we have sold a certain quantity. We receive 40 rand when we have sold a certain quantity, and then we receive this money when we have sold a certain amount, and then we receive 50 rand when we have sold, maybe let's say it's 5 units. Okay, so that means between 0 and 5 units, the units we have sold here has increased our revenue. Our revenue has increased until this point. Okay, and then this point, from this point, as you can see, the revenue decreases. But the units increase. The units they increase. Okay. At this quantity, let's say this is 7. We sell 7 units, but we receive less than 50 rand. We sell, let's say, 8 units, and then we receive 8 units, and then we receive less than 40 rand. We sell, let's say, 9 units, we receive 33 rand. We sell, let's say, 10 units, we receive 18 rand. So our profits were maximized at 5 units, at unit 5, right? And then after unit 5, our profits, okay, our revenue dropped. Okay, that's how you read it, right? Let's go to the next. Okay, they're explaining the graph between the range of 0 to 5. The marginal revenue is positive, it increases, and total revenue is increasing as output is increasing. Remember that graph? That graph was like this. That curve, I mean. Okay, as we sell the units, we receive money. We sell, we receive money. We sell, we receive money. We sell the 5th unit, 5 units, we receive money. Okay. And then we sell these units. Let's say this is 5. This is 5. Okay. And then we sell 6 units, and then revenue decreases. We sell 7, revenue decreases. We sell 8, revenue decreases. Okay, so that means we maximized our revenue here. Our profits were maximized at unit 5. All right, and then after this, then the revenue decreased while the units sold increased. Okay, I hope that is clear. That is what they are trying to explain here. That was what they are trying to explain here. From 0 to 5 units, the marginal revenue is positive. That is, revenue is increasing, and total revenue is increasing also, as output is increasing, right? But between the ranges, between 5 and 10 units, the marginal revenue is negative. Okay, that means yehla, and total revenue is decreasing. Total revenue is decreasing. Is negative, and total revenue is decreasing as output is increasing. Ayimanga yona input isithengisayo output sithengisayo increase, but revenue incinci yona. Okay, so total revenue is maximized at unit 5, at 5 units. Okay, and marginal revenue is 0 at maximum total revenue. Okay. Right, let's go to the next slide, 20. Now we're going back to 20. This is the last slide. Okay, remember we said under short run and under perfect competition, we can make abnormal profits, we can make normal profits, we can incur losses. And I said there's a point whereby a business has to shut down, has to close operations. How do you show that graphically? All right. And then we said you show that graphically when your average revenue is less than average variable cost. Okay. So we show that when your average revenue is less than your average variable cost curve. So where is the average? Where is the average? Where is your average variable? This is, remember, this is the U shape is the average cost curve, and then this one, the one that crosses the lowest point, is the marginal cost curve. And then the blue one here is the average variable cost curve. Okay, average variable cost curve. So the definition of business shutdown is what? It's when your average revenue curve, this one, your average revenue curve is less than your average variable cost curve. You see here, your average variable cost curve is on top of the average revenue. So that means the average variable cost curve is greater than the average revenue curve. All right, that's when the business needs to shut down. Okay, once your average revenue is less than your average variable cost curve, it means that the business needs to shut down. Okay, because it can't afford its average cost. Right? And that's it, guys. I hope this is understandable. Okay, thank you very much.